So sometimes people ask us what to do if they're feeling a little bit of pressure from wearing the halo, over like the first time that they wear the halo.
Yeah.
What do you recommend they do in that situation?
Yeah, so generally when you haven't worn a halo before or you're not used to it, you will feel a sensation, sort of like where the peak of the wire is on your head.
Yeah.
And so that does only really tend to happen, one, if you're not used to the halo, or two, if you've been wearing it for like 8 hours straight and you start to sort of feel like a little bit of a sensation there. We just sort of say move the wire over even just like a couple of millimeters, like give it a bit of a flick with your nail, and that does relieve the tension of that wire.
Yes, yeah. I think I remember the first time I put mine on, and I wear the fix, so it's like an extra 160 grams of hair on my head. So of course it is going to feel a little bit strange the first time I wore it. And I was like, oh, Taryn, like I can feel a little bit of pressure on my head. And you told me to move it. I think I only moved it like literally a couple of millimeters, and it did take all the pressure away. Like it's amazing how much adjusting it just a tiny bit can totally remove the sensation. Since the first time I wore it, I haven't felt any like sensation from wearing it.
Yeah.
So if you've got ombre or balayage, how does that work with the halos?
Well, I guess like you can see with me, I have like a slight balayage. So just like it works fine. You just are basically trying to always match to the lightest color in your hair. So if you have, again, if you have two colors in your hair, but you have more of a blonde on the very ends, then you would probably be matching that color, the blonde color. With me, I have like light brown ends and a medium to dark brown root color. And so I've just made sure that my halo matches my very ends. And if you look here, you can see that my halo is lighter than the top of my hair.
So even if it doesn't look like the halo matches at the top, it doesn't matter as long as it matches at the ends.
As long as it matches the ends, it's going to be fine. The only other issue is that sometimes your hair will separate, and you might find that the halo being lighter does come through the top of your hair. That's usually fine if your hair's covering it, but if you have really fine hair, a lot of the girls actually do get their halo ombre, so they have a darker root at the top.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So do halo hair extensions work and blend well with like super curly hair?
It depends on the curl. So if you can curl your halo to match the natural curl in your own hair, sure. No, it doesn't normally work because the halos do come really straight, and even when the halo is wet and it dries naturally, it does have a natural wave to it, but unless your natural curl is the exact replica of that wave, it's not going to blend.
Yeah.
So usually our curly haired girls have to wear the halo when they are styling their hair straight.
That's still fun though, because if you do have super curly hair and you want to create waves or straighten it for a night out and you want that thicker hair or more volume, or more length, you can still achieve that with the halo, right?
Totally, yeah.
So does the halo work on girls that have blunt ends?
We recommend that if you really want a halo and you have blunt ends, that you sort of thin your ends out a bit, and that can be a little bit hard for girls to come to terms with, because most girls with fine hair will like to get their hair cut a little bit blunter because it does give the illusion of thicker hair. You can always try and wear it with blunt ends and just pull less hair over the halo, but yeah, if you really want it to work and be seamless and look as natural as possible, we do recommend taking a little bit of weight out of the ends just so that it blends when it's sitting on top of the halo.
Yeah, but that's kind of the same with all hair extensions, right? Like no matter what type of hair extensions you go for, blunt ends are really hard to give more length to.
Yeah, 100%. Some of the permanent methods like tapes and beads, I'm sure you could probably get away with it a little bit more because they are getting sort of glued in or taped in sort of around the head, so it sort of evenly hides that baseline. But then you have that issue of like having something glued in your hair permanently, so
too much commitment.